year, new grind. I got a question for you. Are you living life, or is life living you? How bad do you want to be successful? Are you ready to level up in life? Are you ready to go to that next level? Are you sick of being average? I ask you again, are you living life, or is life living you? Less than unstoppable, the international world tour. Dr. Billy Alsbrooks, coming to a city near you. I'll be teaching a 4-hour, life-changing seminar on the art of greatness. Arise, champion. Every city will sell out. Get your tickets now. This year we're taking this thing global. 27 cities, Toronto, London, Paris, Rome. We're coming to impact 1 billion people. If you are serious about success, be at one of these events. Get your tickets now at blessedandunstoppable.com. Grind is the foundation of come from nothing economics. For those who have nothing, who come from nothing, this is the great equalizer. And when the law of hustle is tapped into and fully harnessed, it can take somebody from poverty to the top of the world. The greats, the legends, the champions. If you look into their background, each and every single one of them were products of the struggle. They knew nothing, they had nothing, they came from nothing. So they resorted to the one thing that loved them, and that was the grind. Most of them all had the same philosophy, and that was that the struggle was justifiable if every single day their grind was moving them toward freedom. Emptiness is the breeding ground for both victory and destruction.
You have to leave from that place, from relationship. I go there, connect with my God before I come in here with y'all. I can't sow over y'all and give you anything if I have not been filled up to give it to you. And what you need, I don't have. He has, I don't. So I have to go get with that which I don't have to bring it in here to you. I understood this, see, out on the block, I started understanding the power, the spiritual powers underneath, because I'd been reading personal development and self-help since 2001. Every day, I was in love with this. I did this long before I knew I was called to do this, because that's how God works. I was thinking I'm over there reading because I love Think and Grow Rich, Robert Kiyosaki, Tony Robbins. I'm reading all the books I can get my hands on. I didn't know I was prepping. I kept telling my mom back in 2005, before all this, I was like, Mom, I'm reading for something, but I don't know what it is. Because I'm still in that rap life, and it doesn't make any sense, the stuff I'm saying on stage at night. And the stuff I'm reading in the daytime, they're at war. I'm saying all this ignorance at night, for real. And I didn't know it was ignorance until I had some truth in me. I started putting that truth in. See, the enemies cannot hide in an environment of truth. So I just kept pouring this stuff in, not even knowing what I was doing. I did it by default, by mistake. What I thought was a mistake. God knew what he was doing. He'd pour this stuff in me. And then I'd be in these clubs at night. I had #1 records in the clubs, man, strip clubs, all of this. I'm out there saying, Papa Pig now, we on X, girl, all this foolishness. And in the daytime, I read some of the most powerful books ever written. And I started to understand what was being written here. So when I went over there, I couldn't dismiss it any longer, see. In the beginning, it was like, yeah, that's cool, that book or whatever. But it started to become me. See, we have to read, we have to study, we have to listen, we have to get it down in our spirit so much so that we don't just have brain knowledge. We become it. We read it, we study it until we breathe it, bleed it, and become it. That's the goal. It's not to read motivational quotes. It's not to listen to motivational videos. It's to actually get up and do it. See, your spiritual enemy does not fear you reading the word, reading motivation, personal health development, any of that. He does not fear that. I'm going to tell you right now, he does not fear that. He does not fear that you go to church. That don't scare him. It actually emboldens him. And I'll explain. The one he fears is the one who will get up and do what they have read that God has put in them that will translate from knowledge to action. That is the one the enemy fears. What is it going to take for you to thrust into action? Now, God began to move on me from my relationship. And see, what I did not know at the time was every time you get alone with God, it gives birth to something. See, now you don't see it because it's in the spiritual. I'm out there thinking, I'm just like, look, is he really listening to me? But God is not going to waste time. He honors you when you reach out to him. I'm out there, what's really going on, I'm going to tell you now, looking back, what was really going on is God was pouring in me revelation and understanding. I didn't see it. I started going to this men's group on Monday nights at church, 15 people like this. This is why I wanted to do it this way for LA. I do the big venues, the big people, and I love all that. But I started in groups like this. Close up, intimate, real, authentic, be yourself type of environments. And I'd go in there and we would just hear the word. And it was so beautiful because there's a difference between reading the Bible and then actually having that relationship. It's just different. And see, I'd be in this, sitting in a chair like this, and God had been pouring me out on that block. And the next thing I know, I'd be sitting in that chair and the guy who would be leading the group would say something and we were allowed to talk, and all of a sudden, boom, all this stuff started coming out of my mouth. I'm like, where'd that stuff come from? And everybody's looking at me like, who's this guy? And I'm like, where'd this come from? For real, because that ain't from me. I ain't smart enough to know that. See? Where'd it come from? Relationship. I didn't know what I was doing, see? God knew he was honoring that time out there. Then when I started reading the word, it all began to make sense. See, here's the problem. People try to read the word, read self-help, personal development and all that. They try to read it with their mind. It cannot be understood that way because that's not who wrote it. It was written with the spiritual, and you can only understand that which is read from the spiritual view. And in order to do that, you must have that connection. See, now I had it. So now all those books I read, I was like, oh, that makes sense now. I get it now. And each one of these things started, the onion layers started pulling back, and I started to understand, okay, that's what's wrong in my life over there. I'm violating this principle over here. And that over there, I need to get rid of that because that don't line up with vision. And like all these things that were wrong, I began to see. God's word says, my people perish for a lack of knowledge. I had a bunch of that truth poured into me. And now I had the relationship to support it. See, if we don't have a relationship, knowledge comes in and it'll go right out. What establishes it in you is the relationship. Our alone time is where we really give birth to victory. That's where it's established. All these empty stars out here waiting on you to buy into your destiny. Many of you should be on these stars already, but you let doubt and fear take your dream to the abortion clinic. You see, fear and doubt are the abortion clinic where dreams of champions go to die. Don't take your dream to the slaughterhouse. Put your dream on this star right here. Buy into it. Walk fully into it. 120 beast mode, all in, nothing less. If you don't buy into the dream, why should anybody else? I called AT&T one day. I say, something's wrong with my phone. It's not working. They say, what do you mean, sir? I say, I don't know. It's just not working. Can you look into it? They look into it and say, yeah, everything looks good. They said, why do you think something's wrong with it? And I said, well, it hadn't rang in a week. That was sad, though, because, see, when I was in that music life, my phone blew up all day. People, can I get in the club with you tonight? What time the limo coming, bro? Can I get in with you? Right? Oh, you going to LA to shoot a video? Can I go with y'all? I'm talking about deep. The phone ringing all day long. People want stuff, right? Can I get tickets? I'm over here struggling, man, at the bottom of my life, looking around like, what happened? Where'd everybody go? That don't look like success, what they told me. But God had me right where he wanted me. See, sometimes we can only find the strength we need to go to that next level in our being alone. in our aloneness, our alone time when it's just us, that's the best place to find you. There's no noise. There was nobody telling me how great I was, right, with the music, all the lies, all that stuff, all the stuff going around. It's just me now. We can keep it real. Get back to that truth, that authenticity, that vulnerability. I had these panic attacks and I just could not beat them. I started out 1 a day, 2 a day, 4 a day. I went to the hospital 12 times in 9 months. They knew my name when I walked in the door. Here comes Billy. They knew nothing was wrong with it because I've been in there so many times. Here come Billy. Now you know that's just a panic attack, Billy. No, I'm dying. Y'all got to check me. I could not get my mind to sit still. I was going to therapist after therapist after therapist. I went to 5, 6, 7, whatever was therapists and couldn't find anyone that I really connected with. I always felt like it was money, like they just there for the hour. Nobody really understood me. I didn't feel like when I walked in like somebody really cared. And I needed somebody to care. Daddy was gone. There was a void. Please love on me. That's what I was looking for. Oh, I could still feel that emotion. But from that rawness, that pain, that struggle, just like diamonds are made from intense pressure, greatness is also. So let's not run from the things that shall make us great, but let's embrace them and trust the God to do the pruning. Trust the God to do the molding, the shaping, the dividing, all that stuff that needs to be out of our life. Let him split us and break us down into 1,000,000 pieces and put us back together again. He will make us one. It's his nature. Hear ye, O Israel, the Lord our God. The Lord our God is one. And we are one with the Father, our Creator. Now see, when I say God, I'm not talking about religion the way the modern day church does it, rituals and that kind of stuff. I'm talking about real relationship. Now, before I could get ready for that, I had to go through the struggle. See, my desperation was the invitation God needed. See, we had to invite him in. God is almighty in all things, but he still has to be chosen. It's like if you got a soulmate or a lover, you don't want to force them to love you. You want to be chosen. God wants you to choose him. So I was in a state where I could actually come to him and invite him in to my life. Now, step 1 on leveling up, right here on this paper, is we have to lay the foundation for greatness. Creativity is about combining the traditional with the unorthodox. And genius is in the blending of these two together. I want to create an environment where creativity can flow freely without being interrupted by the constrictions and walls of the status quo thinking. I want to get in here and say, what hasn't been done? How can we do the thing that we are doing in a different way than everyone else? Staying true at the same time, but also adhering and remaining to the laws that govern success. Establish a direct relationship with your Creator, see? Now, I've got these panic attacks, and at this time I hadn't found the right therapist yet. I'm desperate. It starts out, months I've got the panic attacks and everybody's like, oh, it'll settle down. You just got to get over your dad. Time will heal all wounds. 6 months went by. It's getting worse. Year went by. Looks like yesterday. Same thing. Groundhog Day. 2 years go by. 3 years go by. Money dwindling now. I had a lot of money put up. And I'm like this because all my businesses were built around me and my grind. So I could not watch my business the way I need to because of my mind state. I was like halfway there, halfway not. And my money was like this, going down, going down, going down. And it's more pressure now. Now I got a financial pressure. Not just trying to heal, but I got this. All my friends gone, nobody to turn to, nobody to talk to, nobody understands. Therapy ain't working. What do? So after I finally realized that, hey, it was panic attacks, that I wasn't dying, I just thought I was in the moment, I'd have to learn how to just sit there and endure the struggle, how to conquer the struggle. Right? Sit in it and own it and figure out how to stop running and face that which I fear. See, we have to learn this thing. You'll hear it tonight on the video when you leave out of here on YouTube. I'm putting it out. It's called Stop Running. We don't run from hell. We bring heaven to it. See, hell is the illusion. Remember, I told you before, it's the illusion that I don't have healing. It's the illusion that God don't love me, He has forgotten me, has put me through this. The illusion, right? The enemy's trying to tell you this. Everybody leaving you, now what? The enemy's trying to get me. Now see, wherever you can grow, thrive, or multiply, that is where the enemy will attack. I didn't see it that way. I'm like, Lord, why are you letting him attack me? The enemy's attacking you because you are a threat to him. He only attacks that which he fears. So look, when life attacks you, don't let it discourage you, diminish your zeal, derail you, any of that stuff. Use the attack as confirmation that what I am doing is powerful enough to draw out darkness to attack me. Oh, and then you can get bold. You're like, yes! Now the war can start. You feel me? Come on. See, we just have to reframe our circumstances. I'm out on that block. And I started adopting this one thing when these panic attacks would come on. I tried everything else. Nothing worked because it's on the inside. It's like your whole mind, your body, your heart, everything's racing. Just da-da-da-da-da. And I try to sit there. And that was the worst thing you could do because you got all this energy in you, just like amped up before a fight or something, but you're sitting there and can't move. So I was like, I can't do this. So I developed this one pattern that changed my life. I put my shoes on and I'd go around my neighborhood, this 1 mile square block. I'd start walking. And I'd be out there yelling at God, cussing at God, happy at God, praying to God, begging to God, everything you could think of. The rainbow of emotions. 1 minute I'm depressed, like, Lord, why me? The next minute, like, I'm a warrior, Lord, we can do this. Next minute, I'm like, you forgot me. The next minute, I'm numb, like nobody cares. I'm just distraught. And I'd go through these emotions out there, just up and down, up and down. Every time I had a panic attack, I'd hit the block. I know the neighbors thought I was crazy. They said, there go Billy again talking to himself. We heard he lost his mind. It looked like he did. I hadn't lost my mind. I was finding it. For the once in my life, I was finding it. Although, because somebody needs to hear this. It didn't look like it. See, something in your life right now might not look like you're expecting it to look. But don't think because it doesn't look the way you want it to look that it's not happening. God controls the variables. How do we get there? We just have to trust him through the process. I'm out on this block, and guess what? I found my maker. I found God, because I didn't have nobody else to go to at this point. I was at the end of me, and God was there waiting. Come on. Oh, that's when I stopped calling God necessarily God and started calling him Daddy. See, there's a difference. Religion says God, and we think he's way over there. Like, God don't love us. He's angry at us all the time. Right? Like, this is the thing. When it's really Daddy. Daddy's like, come sit on my knee. That's the God we serve. See, it's not all this judging, condemning, hating, burning hell, fire, damnation stuff. That's not our God today because of the cross, right? It's come on and come on. I love you. Come on. Let me do what I want to do with you. Let me show you what I can do. God is so willing to do the things that you want him to do. If you just come to him, he can help you. And if the thing that you want him to do is not right, he'll give you something 10 times better than that. I'm out on this block and I find it. And that's why I say the first step, see here, to leveling up is a direct relationship with your maker, your creator. See, if we have a car and it breaks down, we take it to the mechanic. What's the mechanic? First thing he says, well, what kind of car is it? What's the model number? We got to look up and see what this car was designed to do and how it's supposed to perform. When you break down, when you are not functioning the way you think you need to function, go to the maker. Get on the phone. You know what I'm designed to do. You know what I'm called to do. You know my limitations. You know all of that. Show me. We got to first, to understand how to get to greatness, we have to understand who made us and understand who's behind us. I'll never leave you nor forsake you. Because there's going to be some times if you're going to pursue that next level of success, that things are just not going to look like they're going to happen. And you have to trust the one that made you, that he is with you. Otherwise, you will not break through to the next level because you'll give up. You'll lay down. With your own strength, you can do nothing. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, right? Come on now. See, we got to know our maker first. Direct relationship. Not religion. Religion did not heal anybody, did not save anybody, did not produce the breakthrough in anybody's life. It never has and never will. It is powerless. It robs strength, royal kings and queens of their power. They have been selling us that lie, religion, all through time. That is not the way God designed it. We are to walk in the power of heaven, as on earth as it is in heaven. I'm talking about relationship, real. Just keep it real. Again, we get back to that fire truth music. Lord, when I'm out there on that block, Lord, I don't know what to do. I'm broken. I try everything I know how to do in my mind. I know everything I've done action-wise. I've done everything they told me to do. I took the medicine they told me to take. I've done everything. I went to grief share. I went to programs. I've done it all that I know. What now? Oh, now God is there. Okay. He's there now. I cut a deal with God. Anybody ever cut a deal with God? I did. I'm honest. I'm being true. I cut a deal with him. Because see, I got to the point I didn't have anything else to give him. Didn't have anything else to give him. So I come out there and I say, Lord, it's been almost 7 years. And the enemy tells me this is the way my life's going to look forever. The good days are gone. That's what the enemy does. Oh, them good days you had about music, that's over, man. Ain't no 40-year-old rappers. You know what I mean? Like, the enemy's talking to me. You done missed your window, you blew it. So I'm out there, Lord, I don't have anything. I don't know what you want me to do. I said, I tell you what, I cut a deal with you. If you heal me, which I know you can, if you heal me, I will go out and tell the world who did it. That's all I got to give you. That's all he needed. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. It wasn't like, boom, I was healed all of a sudden right then. I still had to go through the struggle. I still had to complete the process. The birthing process is painful. But the baby of success, the baby of life, the baby of strength is beautiful. We must go through the birthing process to embrace the beautiful. And that's what we have to do, is go to God and invite him in. Say, Lord, I don't know how to get where you want me to do. I don't know who I am. Show me my identity. Show me how you see me, Lord. See, that direct relationship, that is so important for anybody who wants to go to the next level. If you want to lead, you have to lead from that place, from relationship. I go there, connect with my God before I come in here with y'all. I can't sow over y'all and give you anything if I have not been filled up to give it to you. And what you need, I don't have. He has, I don't. So I have to go get with that which I don't have to bring it in here to you.
Blessed and unstoppable. Success starts with putting the right things into your mind. And my new book, Blessed and Unstoppable, was strategically designed to align your mind with the laws of success. This curriculum will teach you the inner mechanics required to go from average to phenomenal. From living a life with limits to being blessed and unstoppable. As you follow this guide step by step, amazing breakthroughs will happen. New doors of opportunity will open, and favor will begin to chase you down. Blessed and Unstoppable is a 31-day devotional on the laws of success. This book will instigate the thought process and actions required to transform your life. Each day has a Bible verse, a teaching on that day's principle, a positive affirmation, a prayer for the day, self-assessment questions, success quotes, action steps, and a powerful inspirational message. Regardless of what field you're in, Blessed and Unstoppable is your blueprint for success. Get your copy at blessedandunstoppable.com. Also available on Amazon.
God will put in the seats who belongs, and it's our job to be a good steward of who's there. You know what I'm saying? And if we can't trust us with one person or 10 people, why should he trust us with 1,000 or 10,000 of the Coliseum? We're going to prove this time that we're ready for the Coliseum next time. We get the Coliseum today. You feel me? Every day that we get up, we earn the Coliseum. You know, we're not there yet, but we going to earn it, and I ain't scared to earn it. You know what I mean? And everybody in this van, we got to get to that point where we all on the same page and we like, bro, we going to the Coliseum. And ain't nothing going to stop us. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, like, every opportunity that we get, we coming out here, we practicing in front of this camera. Figuring out how to get comfortable, how to be ourselves. Not put on a show, but be ourselves in front of that camera and let it be natural. You know what I mean? When you get on that mic, it's not going up there speaking. It's going up there and conversating and unleashing the truth that's on the inside of you. We got to get that mindset that where we going, which is 1 billion people, we going to reach 1 billion people, and ain't money, resources, team, lifestyle, everyday realities, health, fitness, regulation, countries, nothing is gonna get in the way of us reaching our destination, bro. We have to set that mindset and that environment on the inside, bro. Like, you know, I know life is gonna hit us, and we ready for that. But when it does, we still move into that dream. But see, my life changed December 17th. I get this phone call, 12:30 at night. That phone call you don't want to get about your family. That one you don't come back from. It changes you forever when you get the phone. That's the phone call I got. My uncle is calling in. I'm looking at the phone. And I'm like, it's 12:30 at night. And I was like, this can't be good. Because me and my uncle don't talk like that all the time, for one. And he sure doesn't call me at 12:30 at night. So I'm like, So I picked the phone up, and it was exactly what I thought. He says, Billy, I got some bad news for you. Your daddy's had a stroke. He's in the hospital, and it's not looking good. You need to get up here right now to Alabama. He might not make it. Oh, I went to shaking just because, I just got blindsided. Anybody ever been blindsided in life before? Didn't see it coming? See, life will hit you with a brick when you least expect it. But the question is, how will you respond when it does? With motivation, I'm not Ron Howard, and life is not all happy days. The struggle is real, but so is the God that'll help you overcome it. So I'm sitting there and I'm shaking. I don't really know God at this time. Like, I was raised, when I was young in the church, but by the time I got to high school, church and God just didn't seem to be cool. Like, I knew God, and I would never say that he didn't exist. But he just wasn't cool, Like, I didn't see none of the people I was looking up to in there. I'm like, I'll just stay home today, Mom. They gave me the choice. They raised me right, but they gave me the choice. So from that point all the way into this time that my father has this stroke, I've been doing my own thing. Very few conversations, probably none. Me more begging and asking for him to do something for me, but no real conversation, no intimacy like this here. Right? So I get this phone call and I am shaking. I run in there and tell my wife, we get the bags packed real quick. In 30 minutes, me, my wife, and my little dog, Half Pint, we jump in the car and we on the way to Alabama. It's a 12-hour drive in the middle of the night. Typical enemy stuff. Hit you late night when you tired, exhausted, can't think straight. Let me smack him now, right? He don't come when everything's good, you ready for him. I'm ready for it. No, that's not how he does it. He's into them old sucker punches. You don't see it. Boom, blindside. So I get up there to the hospital in Alabama, and it's just like my uncle said. It's terrible. He's not doing good. He's on all these machines. The beep, 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 beep. Doctor says he's had this stroke. We can't do any kind of surgery because of where the stroke happened in his mind, in his brain. So we basically at the mercy of God. I'm sitting there shaking. And see, the ironic thing was 2 days before that, before my dad had that stroke, I was in the bookstore and I had bought this book called The Prosperity Bible. I'd heard all this stuff about the power of the mind, and I was like, ooh, I want to harness some of that. I want to make my mind strong. I want to see what this power thing is about. 2 days before, I'm thinking about conquering my mind, and 2 days later, I lose my mind. Oh, but see, sometimes we have to lose ourselves before we find ourselves. See, I set that emotion. So I'm in this room, and my mother and father raised me in positivity. They raised me in positive thinking. So I immediately returned to that which I know. Oh, I got to think my daddy up out of here. Nobody can tell me he's not coming out of here. Nobody's going to be able to tell me he can't walk. I ain't trying to hear that. I'm going to do what God told me to do long time ago when I was a kid and wasn't listening. I'm going to try to believe, right? So 9 days in the hospital, he's getting slowly getting better. They move him on the 9th day to this rehabilitation center. 3 days later, on a Sunday, a beautiful Sunday, cold but beautiful, I go over there to the nursing rehabilitation place, and the doctor comes in and says, it might be a good idea to get your daddy out of bed and into a wheelchair and get him outside so he can get some sunlight. Because he's been in here 12 days, and if we're going to get his movement back, see, he couldn't speak. You know, when you had a stroke, sometimes it messes up your speaking. He couldn't speak at all. He was jumbling everything. And his right arm and right leg, he could not move. So the doctor was like, we've got to get him moving if we ever want to get access and use of this leg and arm again. So me and the nurse, we lift my father up, put him in his wheelchair, and all of a sudden my dad said, whoa. I look at him, and his eyes are funky. So I tell the nurse, I say, something's wrong with my daddy. She's like, oh, he's just weak. He's been in bed 12 days. I said, no, I know my daddy. I'm looking in my eyes. I know something's wrong. He starts taking these short breaths, you know, abnormal breathing, like real short, tight breaths. So she's checking him out. She's like, oh, his blood pressure's fine, but let me call the doctor. The doctor comes in and says, well, he's okay, but just to be safe, let's send him back over to the emergency room. They call 911, ambulance comes over, takes about 10 minutes. And as that's coming on, I can hear the ambulance coming down the street, and my daddy's getting worse. The breaths are getting shorter, the eyes are getting more desperate. He's uneasy, and the whole room, we all, my grandmother, my wife, me, my uncle, all of us in this room, and something's happening. We just don't know what's happening, and it didn't feel right in this room right now, right? Ambulance comes. I get in the ambulance with my father. He's struggling all the way to the hospital. They roll him in the emergency room, put him in the room. The paramedic plugs him up like they're supposed to do, and he gets out of the room. But there's nobody in the room. There were supposed to have been doctors in the room, nurses in the room. They weren't there yet. So I'm in the room, sitting there with my father. He's struggling, and boom, he crashed right there in front of me. I see the transition. I see the change. I see death come upon that which I love right there on the spot. And I am helpless. I can't do anything. I'm sitting there going crazy. I run outside and say, hey, help my dad. Paramedic comes back in and says, I'll stay here until they get here. But I'd already seen what I didn't want to see. I already knew what I didn't want to know. Do you understand what I'm saying? Doctors come in finally, rush me out. And for the first time, I have a real conversation with God. A real one. That 120 kind of relationship. Like, hey, I got to be real. I go into the bathroom in the hospital there, open the stall, get down on my knees right there on that floor, and I say, Lord, I'm at the end of me. Now, I know, my mama told me about you. I know you can heal him. I don't want my dad suffering, but I know you can heal him. And I don't know what else to do. I just turn this over to you. And that was hard, because I always, in the music business, I did everything with a mindset of, you know, hard work, grind, you can get whatever you want, right? And here, I couldn't grind this thing into healing. I couldn't grind my daddy to be better. And I was out of my element, out of my world. Like, how do you do this? I get up out of the stall, tears running down my eyes. And they had moved my family into this small little private room in the emergency room. You know, when somebody comes in really, really bad shape, they put you in a private room. So if you cry or you have emotions or whatever, you're not doing it out, you know, in front of everybody else, to give you a little bit of privacy. Room's quiet. Nobody's saying nothing. My grandmother, no, we just sitting there like in a daze. Like, what happened? Everything was good 10 minutes ago. Beautiful sky. Everything perfect. Daddy getting better. And now we over here not knowing what's about to happen. The unknown. The unknown. Now, I had already seen what I didn't want to see, and I already knew what I didn't want to know. Do you understand? But I had not accepted it. Doctors come in and they say, you might want to start considering, you know, whether you want to pull the plug and this kind of stuff, like this, all this medical jargon. Quality of life. They call it quality of life. Like, you know, we like trying to figure out what they saying. He's saying all this gibberish. Down the hall, I can hear, flatline. It's been like that for 5 minutes. And he's over there saying, you might want to consider the quality of life. I did not like that music. That was the real music of life, and I did not like it. But I'd already seen what I didn't want to see. I already knew what I didn't want to know. 5 minutes later, he come in and tell us what I already knew. Son, your daddy is gone. Boom! Right there, I hit the floor. Had my first full-blown panic attack. Imagine the time in your life when you were the most fearful for your own existence, that you were about to die. That one time when you thought, I'm about to die. Imagine that feeling there, and then stretching that feeling over an hour, 2 hours. With no help, because it's all in here. Nobody can get in there and help you with that. But you just have this emotion cycling itself over and over and over on the inside of you. I'm on the floor having a panic attack, and I remember thinking, I'm going to die right here. My daddy and me died on the same day right here in front of my grandma. Because I didn't know what it was. I thought I was literally dying. I had no experience in any of this. But the journey had begun. The preparation had started for life. This is the day I first went to school, real school. This was day one. That day set me here today. Had that day not happened, I would not be here now. I would never in a million years want to go through that again, or want any of y'all to go through that again. But I would not be here today had that not happened. I needed something to rock and shake my world, to get me off that course that was not right for me, that was not what God had designed for me. Now, I don't like the way God chose to do that, but maybe that was the only way I would ever come to this conclusion, right? The change began. The awakening began right there. 2 days later, this is where the journey starts. I'm at the funeral home. See the funeral director. And he says, come here, let me show you where your dad is going to lay. Your grandmother's bought 4 plots. So we go out there. My grandfather's already in the ground. This is what he say. Now, it's crazy, but it impacted me. He says, right here is your grandfather. Here's where your grandmother's going to lay. She was still alive. Here's where your dad is going to go. And here's where you're going to lay. Ooh. More music I did not like to hear. Come on. Now, that had a profound effect on me because a couple days before, I saw what that really meant. I saw it up close. Do you understand? When he said, you're going to lay here, meaning I'm going to go through the struggle too, like my dad did, and I'm going to die, and I'm going to be sitting right here too. Ooh. All it kept cycling in my head. You're going to lie here. You're going to lie here. You're going to lie here. Go inside. Funeral director say, what would you like on the headstone? No. I didn't know. My daddy was in good health as far as I know. He was 63 when he had the stroke, but he looked 53. Didn't really have any health complications. Never even got a cold. 5 years, wouldn't get sick, nothing. So for this to happen, this rocked me. I didn't see it coming. Funeral director says, what do you want in this obituary? I don't know. But at the same time, this little voice in the back of my head said, you're going to be lying here. Which I put 2 and 2 together. One day they will be asking, what do you want on Billy's headstone? What do you want in Billy's obituary? It stuck with me. Now see, for the next 7 years, that traumatic event caused PTSD in me and severe anxiety and panic attacks. Those panic attacks took over my life. Everything that I had built up for 17 years in the music business, the grind, the hustle, the money, the name, the fame, all of that was like a death by 1,000 cuts began to be slowly ripped away. Now, I said, Lord, why do I keep losing? What I was calling losing, God was calling pruning. Come on. This don't belong where I'm taking you. Come on now. This don't belong either. I've been asking you to let this go for years. Get rid of that. All these things he started pulling up. This person don't belong. Vision is the genesis of all greatness. Whatever you want in life, you got to get a 4K, high definition, high resolution, mental image for how you want your life to look. Dream big, believe, and go get it. Now I'm going to end with this. There was an 8-year-old boy praying by the side of his bed one night. And God called him up in heaven. And when the little boy gets up there, all he can see is these warehouse buildings as far as he can see in heaven. And the little boy's confused. So he asked God, what's in the buildings? God said, come, let's see. Grabs the little boy's hand and starts walking toward the buildings. They get inside the buildings, and inside the building, there's all these cargo containers like you see on these ships. Miles and miles inside the warehouse. And every one of these containers has a name on it. And the little boy recognizes all these names. My little brother's name, my sister's name, my daddy's name, mama's name, teacher's name, little kid Johnny, all of them. He knows every name on it. He asked God, what's in the containers? God said, come, let's see. Brings the little boy over to the containers and starts to open up these tops. He shows the son, he says, son, here, all the blessings, all the dreams, all the breakthroughs, all the abundance, all the love, all the joy, all the happiness, all the fire, all the truth, all the things that I want to give my people if they would just believe. Go back and tell everyone you see what I have for them. Tell them just believe. Now I'm telling you today, God loves you. God's got a plan for you. You're not a mistake. He gave me a verse when I was out on that block, when I had the panic attacks. See, your victory will always be attached to a verse, to strength, to truth. Truth will set you free, right? God gave me a verse when I was going through the struggle. The enemy was telling me all my good days were over, right? He's telling me I was going to die just like my father, struggle, all that. God gave me a verse, Jeremiah 29:11. It says, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not harm you. Plans to give you a hope in the future. Now you had that same promise. God promised us all as believers that verse. So don't let the enemy fool you. Don't give back what is yours. Get up every single day and do this first thing here at the top. To go to the next level, one must move away from the safety and comfort of the familiar and instead aggressively, everybody say aggressively, pursue the unknown. Are you willing to do that? Come on now. Everybody say next level. Next level. Man, I love y'all. I thank y'all for coming out tonight. And as always in my videos, I'm Dr. Billy Alsbrooks. Blessed and unstoppable, and to God be the glory. Go get your greatness. It's out there. The struggle is real, but you know you were meant for more. That dream that's on the inside of you just won't shut up. Because you know you were meant for more. You've always been different. They never understood you. They've always doubted you. Because you're different. But you know something that they don't know. You know to be successful, you cannot follow the masses. You gotta be different. And you are bold enough to be you. You've always been different. Success ain't for everybody. B7U clothing. Wear your identity. Contrary to popular belief, you can't think your way to the top. You have to burn your way there. Pursue your passion. Set yourself on fire, and the world will come see you burn. B7U clothing, fire troop music. Wear your identity.